Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is episode number 451 of the Immigration Answer Show. I'll be here for the next hour answering as many immigration law-related questions as I can. I'm coming to you live from my son Yusuf's bedroom. The internet went out at work, so I had to rush home to get here in time. Waihori is here. Speaking of Waihori, I don't know if you guys saw an immigrant home. Yassine got his an EAD approved in 24 hours, one day. It was approved the day after he filed it. That is pretty remarkable. I hope you all are doing well. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. I don't usually answer questions out of the comments unless there's nobody in the waiting room. The waiting room is already filling up. Tomorrow I'm traveling, so I'll have sort of a weird start time tomorrow, and it's sort of up in the air. Might not be able to do a show at all tomorrow if my flight gets rearranged or canceled, but the goal is to have tomorrow's show at, I think, 4:30 Central Time. I think we'll let you know by the end of the show. Thank you, Yassine, congratulating me on my daughter's victory. My daughter's team this time yesterday was playing for the district championship, and they in fact won, so that was pretty exciting. Thank you, Yassine. Let's go ahead and get started. Alex is here and has a question. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. My question is, okay, when me and my family came into the country, we did not, change our status immediately. So, like after a year, we now apply for asylum.
Okay, asylum's not changing status. Asylum is asylum. So when did you enter the United States and you waited almost a year or more than a year to apply for asylum?
More than a year. More than a year.
Why would you do that?
I didn't know anything. We didn't know anything we didn't know anything about asylum before. We didn't know anything about it.
Well, why didn't you leave on time?
There was COVID time or so. That's what happened.
Okay, so why didn't you ask somebody before a whole year? Why didn't you ask someone for help or how to explain to you how things work?
So we now apply later. My question is, we now apply later. We are given, asylum EAD. So my wife's mother, she will get I think she will get a citizen at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, can she file petition for my wife?
She can, but it doesn't going to do you guys any good. You're all out of status for purposes of adjustment. So asylum is your whole shooting match. And just so you know, if you file your asylum case more than 1 year out, they can deny you just for that. You could have the strongest asylum case on earth, but if you filed it more than 1 year, they can deny you just for that reason.
So that means she can't petition for my wife.
She can petition for it, but there's a 9-year wait, and your wife isn't going to be able to adjust status based on that. Your mother-in-law can file a petition for her daughter once she becomes a U.S. citizen, but that's not going to do you guys any good because you're all out of status.
We have our EAD. We still have our EAD.
That is not status. You have no status in the United States. You have a asylum case that's going to be denied because you filed it a year late. You have no status. You can't change status based on a petition filed by a U.S. citizen for her adult married daughter.
So what else can we do? We have citizen, a kid and a citizen. What else can we do?
How old is that kid?
He's 4 years old.
So in 2039, that kid can apply for you when he's 21 or 2041, I guess. Yeah, this was a bad plan. You haven't handled any of this correctly.
Oh. Wow. So okay. So I applied. Okay, I did my renew last 2 months, but it's not out yet.
Yeah. Well, they gave you the extension letter, right?
Yes. For 540 days extension.
So what's the question?
No, is there anything I can do? I have some job that I need to get the offer. I don't know if they will ask for anything, but
you have an EAD and extension letter. That's all that you need.
That's what I need. Okay.
Bye, Alex. Bye, buddy. Yeah, you got to plan this shit out. You can't just do whatever you feel like. You can't just hang out here and file when you feel like it. Everyone needs to go talk to an attorney or call me or do something much, much earlier. All right, Ben is here. Hello, Ben.
Hi Jim, how are you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
Thank you very much for all you do, and thank you very much for taking my call.
You
I
got it.
actually have two questions now. I am married to a green card holder, and I am an Iranian national. I live in France. We are going to file the I-130 in almost 2 weeks' time. I just wanted to ask, do I still have the chance to register in DV lottery program? Does that, somehow, can USCIS hold it against me after being in a DV lottery program?
You can apply for the DV lottery. You probably should apply for the DV lottery. And the two are not, you're not going to get in trouble for one or the other. It's okay to do both.
Okay, that means there are two separate processes. Let's
Correct.
say. Okay, I definitely would go for that. And then my second question is that do I have the chance to go for a US visitor visa before or after filing the I-130?
Are you already married?
Yes, we are married.
What's your status in France?
I'm here on student visa, but I have a job and I'm almost in the middle of my studies.
I think the chances of them giving you a visit visa to the United States when you're an Iranian national living in a third country is low, and when they find out that you're married to a U.S. citizen, it's even lower. So I think that you could apply as long as you tell them the truth in the application, but I think it's probably going to be denied.
Okay. Okay, and the process would take the process after I-130, that would take more than, I don't know, a couple of years.
Like right now, it's like 3 or 4. Yep.
Okay. Now I'm married to the U.S. citizen. It's either that I'm coming to U.S. as a green card holder or not. Is that what you imply?
I don't understand the question. I thought you said your spouse was a green card holder.
Yeah. I mean, because you said my visit visa would probably be denied.
Oh yeah, because you're married to a green card holder, because you've demonstrated immigrant intent. It's the filing of the I-130. Whether the spouse is a citizen or a green card holder doesn't matter. You've just demonstrated that you want to live in the United States, and that's inconsistent with a visit visa.
Okay. Would that actually help me if I apply the visit visa before filing the I-130, or they would find out actually?
Well, you have to identify that you're married to a green card holder, and that'll probably be it. But I think the bigger problem is the whole thing with a visit visa is, are you going to go home? But your home is in Iran, not in France. So I don't think they're going to give you a visit visa. When you try to get a visit visa in a third country, it's very, very hard.
Okay.
So I'd forget about all that, Ben.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, buddy. See ya. Teslima is here. Hello, Teslima.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have two quick questions. One is for my mom. She's right next to me, but she's not showing herself. So
That's okay.
she for her brother 11 years ago, and they got a received letter. But after that, they're not really sure what step they're on, or like how the processing is gonna work after that. So how would we check the status, I guess?
So the first thing to do is, there's a USCIS case lookup. If you Google USCIS case lookup, you can put in her receipt number and see what the status of that is.
I think I did that, and I think it's something like in processing or something in that sort.
Well, so that's important. That's probably a good thing, because everyone's got to make sure to pay good attention, and that mom's address is updated with USCIS. Okay, so keep checking that portal. Once it's approved, then we have to wait for a visa to become available. So what country is brother from?
He's from Bangladesh.
So right now they're working on cases that were filed like 16 years ago. So he still has a while to go, but you want to just pay attention to that I-130 and don't forget about it, because if they approve it and then a year goes by and mom doesn't do anything, then they're going to throw it in the trash.
All right, we'll keep checking then. Thank you. And then I had a quick question for myself. So I applied for my husband, who is also from Bangladesh, last year, summer of 2022. And then this summer 2023, we started the NVC processing.
So,
And
so just real quick, that process will be sort of like what happens with your mom and her brother. So it's sort of the same thing, but keep
right,
going.
that's what but anyways, basically, I'm a full-time student. My income isn't high enough, so I had my dad be the joint sponsor and my mom's income in addition to his as the household member. And at first, they rejected the stuff and they said my dad has to be a household member. Then the website crashed for like over a month and a half. But now everything's being updated and they said, oh no, sorry for the misinformation. He can be sponsor and my mom can be household member. So just because, there was contradiction in like what they said, I just don't want to delay the time any further than they've already like caused.
How much did dad make on his income
About
in each of the last 3 years?
like it's in with that range. Yeah, it's about 100,000. I checked the thing.
Oh yeah. And how many people does he declare on his taxes?
Me, my sister, my mom, and my grandparents. So it'd be 6 people in total.
Yeah, still. But if he makes 100K a year, he's fine.
Yeah. So that's why I just want to make sure that like the forms I submit to them this time around, I don't want them to be like doing what they already did when they rejected it, because they rejected him.
But they might, but they shouldn't.
Okay, so I should just like go on with whatever recent thing they said.
You're doing everything right. Just keep going.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye, Taslima. See ya. Saida is here. Hello, Saida. You're on mute.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great. What can I help you with?
Could I please have the camera off?
It is off.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How
Thank
you
you
doing?
for taking my call. I'm
Sure.
good. A little bit worried.
Okay.
So I'll explain the situation to you. So my husband is a U.S. citizen of over 20 years, and I was born and raised in Canada. So we knew each other for more than 10 years before we got married last March 2022. So we filed our case and it was documentarily approved in July of this year, end of July.
Great.
So it's been about 3 months or so, and I'm currently awaiting an interview appointment in Montreal.
Yep.
And so also I didn't have legal advice going through the paperwork and stuff. I thought our case was quite straightforward, so I didn't use any attorney.
Okay.
But I do think now that I may have made a mistake I've been back and forth to the US to visit my husband throughout our process. And I have always told the truth when I crossed the border. I always told them I have my I-130 filed, and then when it got approved, I told them it was approved. And even now, when I came this time, about a week ago, I told them that I'm waiting on an interview date. And they did give me some pushback this time when I was coming, but in the end, they did let me come. So I am wondering if you would know that, is there a limit to how long Canadians can visit the US? I was under the impression that I can stay here for, not that I should, and I haven't, but I could stay here technically for up to 6 months. And then I have to go back and it kind of resets it in Canada, and then I can come again. The most I've personally stayed here is up to 3 months at a time, but before that it was always shorter. So now when I was coming, they told me that there is a limit in a 365-day period of 6 months total, like cumulative, that you could stay. So I did do like short trips and stuff, but I think the total is now like adding up. So I wanted to ask you if this is going to affect my interview or if it's going to extend the amount of time that I have to wait for my interview.
When did you enter?
For my current trip, I entered last week.
And when did you get DQ'd?
I got DQ'd July 28th this year.
So I'm not your attorney, but if you were my attorney, what I would propose is that in about a month and a half, you stay here and you file for adjustment of status based off the approved I-130 and forget Montreal. Montreal could be a year and a half away, and I do think they're going to give you trouble the next time you come through. That 6 month stuff, they just make shit up. CBP officials say things that are fake all the time. So if I were you, if you're willing to and can afford to stay here, I would rely on that. I would rely on that I-130, and I would say, you can't do it in the first 60 days. Otherwise they presume that you plan this all along. But of course you could show them this wonderful clip of you talking to an immigration lawyer and him saying, hey, I got a plan for you. How about this? How about you forget all that consular processing BS and just apply for adjustment and stay here until the case is approved.
And what do you, in your experience, what is the timeline for that?
Well, it depends where your spouse lives. So it depends on I mean, it sounds like you have a nice long history together. I would think that you could probably put together a pretty strong case, which means they might not interview you at all, which means it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 2 months these days. So you just never know.
Okay. I was a little confused because I thought that if the border officer was letting me in and I'm truthfully telling him everything, then I didn't know that could accrue any unlawful presence. But then this time when I was coming,
it's not unlawful presence. It's just in their discretion. They can say, we don't want to let you in anymore. That's the problem.
Okay, so you don't think that this counts as unlawful presence?
No, you're duly admitted. You're not. You have every right to be here.
Okay, because in my research it was saying that if you overstay, then you can be subject to a 3 or even a 10-year ban, depending on how long you overstay. So I was getting really worried about that.
No, sweetheart, you just entered. You're 6 months away or 3 months away from overstaying.
So I have
visa,
been
right?
entering since I got married, but does it reset when I go to Canada and when I come back?
It does.
Does it add up?
Nope.
Oh, it doesn't add up.
Nope.
Okay. And then I guess the other thing is the reason that we did consular processing in the beginning is because I wanted to be able to see my family who lives in Canada as well as my spouse who lives here. And I knew if I did the adjustment of status way, then I would have to stay here until I get approved.
You have to stay here till you get advanced parole.
Okay. So you think I should now do the adjustment of status and then apply for an advanced parole?
Now, yes. And Jim's vote is as the immigration lawyer, but also as the dad, right? So if you were my daughter, I would say, sweetheart, it's time for you to be with your husband. And we love you very much. And we're going to miss you if you don't come back to Canada anytime soon. But let's Skype for a while. Let's Google Meet for a while. You take care of your stuff. You get your immigration stuff squared away. Then you can come and go whenever you want. And you're not going to get in trouble with CBP.
Okay.
I mean, you're literally at least a year from getting that interview in Montreal. That is a slow ass embassy.
Oh, you think so?
I don't think so. I know it.
Okay. Okay, I thought I might be like some months away from getting it.
I don't think so.
Okay. So if you think that if I leave right now, like without having any advice from you, I was going to leave because I thought I was getting unlawful presence added up, but then it would be hard for me to come back, right?
Yeah. I think the next time you come, you might not get in.
I see. Okay. And then, okay, then what do you think of me? And do you think I'd need any sort of waivers or anything for overstaying, or that doesn't matter at all?
No, honey, you don't have any overstays. So if anybody asks, you don't say I have any. You don't have any.
I don't. Okay.
Overstays.
They were like yelling at me at the border this time, saying that you're already basically living here, and I was trying to tell them no, like I'm just visiting. But yeah, they seemed pretty sure that I was like illegally residing here.
Well, here's the great thing, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Federal law allows the government agents to lie to you whenever you want. You lie to them, you get in trouble, but they can lie to you whenever you want. They're just making stuff up to scare you. And guess what? It seems like it worked. So listen to me. Listen to me. I've handled this kind of case, this adjustment with an I-130 pointed to a foreign consulate. These are my favorite kind of cases because I basically get to say, forget you, CBP. We're going to do our own damn thing. And in fact, we would even use that bad conversation and the bad treatment you got against them. So if you do get an interview and USCIS says, hey, Saida, Why'd you apply this time? I applied this time because those assholes at Pearson scared the crap out of me by telling me that I was breaking the law and doing all this stuff when I know now, because I talked to an immigration attorney who knows what he's talking about, that they're full of crap and they were just trying to scare me. But it made me want to get this thing done, and it made me not want to leave the United States until I had my green card.
Okay. Okay, yeah, when I came, it was from the Buffalo border in New York.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just so it's clear. Assalamualaikum, by the way.
This is my husband.
I'm the husband of
I figured that's who you were.
So just regarding the 365-day period thing that they were talking about, like Canadian citizens are only allowed 6 months. What exactly is that for? What are they referring to? Even like online resources or the Border Patrol officers themselves?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Is there anywhere where we can show them that this is allowed? Like, this is my proof that I'm allowed to be here?
You do not want to interact again with CBP until you have your green card.
Okay.
They almost have complete discretion who they let in the United States. You show up there again, they're going to give you grief, especially if you go through Buffalo. But
okay.
Every time you ask me about things that are causing you stress,
yeah.
to me supports my argument to do it all here. Why don't you want to just do it all here? You probably get advanced parole or green card in 4 or 5 months. Your family can live without you for 4 or 5 months. Once you get your green card, they're going to be living with you a whole lot longer. So let's speed it up.
Okay. Yeah, it was just the family reasons. I just wanted to visit my family frequently.
Well, once you get your green card, you can.
Okay. So you think I should just start the process by filing for the adjustment of status here?
That's what I would do.
Okay. And what's my current status here? I'm a visitor?
And once you apply, then you're adjustment of status applicant.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. And so for my address, I would put my husband's address?
That's your new address. But remember, you can't do this the first 60 days.
Okay. So you think I should wait? I came last week, so I should wait a total of 60 days before?
You have to. I mean, you're going to make your life harder if you don't. So you might as well just wait the 60 days.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. That's it.
Bye, guys.
Okay, thank you so much.
You got it. Like I'm saying. Yeah, those guys at CBP, they love to mess with people. But there are all kinds of immigration officials who give out bad advice all the time. I used to sit down waiting for interviews at the St. Louis field office, and the person at the front desk was giving out bad immigration advice all the time. So, don't believe them, and especially when they're trying to scare you. Vassal's here. What do you say, Vassal?
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. How you doing? I saw you nodding while I was talking.
Yes. My question is pertaining to my husband. I applied for I-134. He's a Jamaican citizen. And unfortunately, he has a charge on his record from 2013, an assault charge when he was in a fight with someone and protecting himself. Will that prevent him from getting approved to come over?
For a spouse visa?
Yes.
What kind of a sentence did he get? Was it a serious injury to the other person?
No, he had to pay a fine of like $70 or something like that.
I think he's fine.
Okay. So I didn't know if we needed to try to get an expungement or something done before.
Don't go to an expungement. Just get proof that it was resolved. That's all he'll need. I mean, he'll have to get the police certificate when the time comes, but that's it.
Okay. And we had a police certificate we got back in January while we're waiting for this process. His decision date's supposed to be in 2 weeks. Do we need to get a new certificate? I don't know how many months that's supposed to be valid.
It's good for 6 months. Don't do it until you get to the embassy. Don't do it again. Just wait until the time comes. You don't need it now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, Vassal. See ya.
Bye. See you.
All right. Bella is here. What do you say, Bella?
Hey, Jim. Can I get off camera, please?
You got it. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually a client of yours. I'm doing a writ of Mandamus for my I-130. But once that's approved, I'm going to need an I-212. Is there any way we can file a writ of mandamus for the I-212 after it's been a year?
Oh, well, after a year, maybe. But you know, you're a long way from that, because you're going to have to start the consular process once the I-130 is approved. I mean, yeah, after a year, if you want to, we could file a lawsuit. We'd have to see if it makes sense. We'd have to think about what's happening. We'd have to take a look at it all. But yeah, in theory, I mean, I would probably give them more time than a year. I'd probably want 18 months or something before I sued them on a 212, just because it's so discretionary and it's sort of a big ask. So I should probably do a video on this. The more discretion they have, and the more damage they can do with a denial, maybe that lends me to want to give them more time before I sue them.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. And then I have another question. So I think hypothetically I could go two ways with my case, right? I could do adjustment of status if I got advanced parole since I have DACA. And I could do that to kind of get the legal entry in, or also go through consular processing. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know it's kind of hard to say your thoughts when you don't fully know our case.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you're a client of the firm, we can always talk. You know, I can email or talk to your lawyer and all that kind of stuff, so we can talk off the show about that. Any client can always reach out for my input on something. What's the 212 waiver for?
So I was ordered removed when I came in when I was 6 years old.
Got it. Okay, so let me think this through. So what I would probably do, and again, we'll talk to your lawyer and all that stuff, but conceptually, if I had a magic wand and could make what I want happen, I would take the I-130 that's approved, I would take it to the court, I would ask them to, I would ask the Biden attorneys to join in a motion to reopen proceedings, to set aside the deportation order. And then after that, then I would apply for a DACA advanced parole, or maybe even at the same time apply for a DACA advanced parole, because that's going to take a little while. I'd much rather have you, if we feel safe, have you go to the embassy, or I'm sorry, go to your home country with advanced parole, and then you come back with a nice valid entry and we adjust you.
Okay. Is that faster than, I guess, going through consular processing and waiting for the waiver?
100%.
Okay. That's good to know. I guess we'll just talk.
Yeah. Just email me. You should be getting, if you get emails from anybody, you can just say, hey, send this to Jim. They'll know what to do.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Bye, Bella. See ya. I think Julie found you already anyway. Thanks, Bella. All right. You're listening to the Immigration Answers Show. It's the 17th of October. I hope you all are doing well. We're going to be here for another half hour or so. It's just me, your old boy Jim, answering immigration-related questions. Tell me something fun. Tell me something fun that you're doing, something cool, something neat. If you got an immigration benefit lately, let us know about that. That'll make people happy. I see a lot of our friends in the comments. So Nurse Laura's here, Mosin's here. Who else is here? I saw some AJ's here. Jamal is back. Who else is here? Mosin, I said that already. Let us know when the H&M is here. Great to see everybody. I should be doing shows today and tomorrow, or tomorrow and Friday. There'll be weird shows, probably from the airport. Friday night's going to be a late show, like before I get on the plane when I'm at the airport. So that'll be a Friday night show. And then I'll take the weekend off. All right. Faith and Believin' is here. What's up, Faith and Believin'? You're on mute. There you go.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Your audio is a little janky, but go ahead.
Sorry about that. I'm on my phone. Could you hear me better now?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay, so I'm an adjustment of status applicant. So I concurrently filed my I-485 and my I-130 together, and I got an RFE for both, but there was basic stuff. They just asked for my birth certificate and medical, and it's been 5 months since, and they received it. The response and I just want to know if anything I could do to speed it up or just wait.
What's the deal with your birth certificate?
No, they requested it, the original one for my I-130. I guess I didn't send it in when I initially filed it.
Did they ask for a copy or the original?
No, they just asked for a printout.
Okay.
And I got a good picture of it, and I sent it in.
And how about marital evidence? Marital evidence. Did they ask for more of that, or they were happy with that?
No, the only thing they asked for was the birth certificate for the I-130, and the I-485 was just the medical.
What's the receipt date for the whole show, the whole case?
I filed in like it was March, the beginning of March.
Yeah, I think you're just chilling.
So it isn't a window that they're supposed to respond in a certain amount of time.
No.
Okay, so it doesn't make no sense to sue on none of that. Just wait.
Too early for that. Yeah, maybe this time next year. Yep.
Pardon me?
Maybe like next year.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot.
We'll see you later. All right. Hamam is here. Hello, Hamam.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. Well, let me present myself. My name is Hammam, and I'm from the Middle East. I'm from Yemen, but I live here in Saudi Arabia. So I have a friend actually that I was talking to for like almost since 2019, and I proposed for her, and she is totally fine with that. And right now I'm trying to find a way to get to the United States. Is there any possible way that I can marry her without going to the USA and then get a visit visa so I can go there?
So do you want to get married and do the green card, the immigrant visa? Or are you asking me, hey, Jim, there's this person in America that I want to go meet. Do you think they'll give me a visit visa? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, my question is that I want to marry her and get the green card after that.
Okay. Well, how long have you known each other?
We've known each other like on Facebook since like 2019.
Have you ever met face to face?
It's about 4 years. No, we haven't actually. I know her online.
So maybe have her come visit you, and then maybe have her come a couple times. I wouldn't get married right away. I would meet a couple of times. They're going to be suspicious of a Yemeni who's in Saudi who's marrying a U.S. citizen and applying the first time they meet each other.
Okay, so there's a kind of suspicious. Excuse me, my English isn't that much good. Yeah.
Your
but,
English.
I mean,
your English
can her? Thank you. I would face some kind of difficulty if I want to travel to the USA. You may have a background about that as a Yemeni citizen. So I think that if she could get to here to Saudi Arabia and we can visit, and she can visit me, can we get married here after she visit me in the United States Embassy here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia?
So this is what I'm trying to tell you, my brother. I want you to slow your roll. Have her come meet you. See if you like her. See if she likes you. Don't be in this big rush getting married. Just have her come visit. See what happens. Let her go back to America.
Mm-hmm.
Then keep talking. Then have her come a second time. Maybe get married on the second one. Don't get married on the first one. If you get married on the first one, you look like desperate to come to the United States. So slow down. Khader.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's right. Okay, would she like? Is it okay for her to get here to to Saudi Arabia without facing any difficulty? Is it okay?
I mean, when
Because I would face some difficulties like applying for a visit visa to get to the United States.
You're not getting a visit visa to the United States. Can you go to Dubai? Can you and she meet in Dubai?
Why Dubai? Wouldn't she be able to get here to Saudi Arabia?
When I went to Saudi Arabia, I had to get a sheikh to swear that I was Muslim. I had to get it was a whole big production for me to go to Saudi Arabia. So for American people, they want to know why you're coming to Saudi. I was going on Umrah, but I had to get my imam to sort of certify that I was Muslim and all that stuff. So I would meet somewhere else, some neutral place that's not the US and not Saudi Arabia. If you can get to this other country and she can get to the other country, that would be better.
Okay. Well, Dubai is like 400 kilometers here. It's near to here. So yeah, that would be good.
All right, Hamam, thanks so much for the call.
Thank you so much. Okay, how can I reach out for you if I have any inquiry?
You can email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hi, Hamam. My best friend is in the comments causing trouble. Hello, BDS. Good to see you, buddy. Brent's chatting with Nurse Laura. I'm having sort of an independent George moment, so wouldn't you know? Jane is here. Hello, Jane.
Hi, hello, Jim. Can you take me off the camera, please?
You are off the camera, Jane.
Oh, okay. So I have a question. I got married in October last year to a US citizen.
Okay.
And then we applied for adjustment of status in December 2021.
Okay.
So in March 2023, we were invited for an interview, and when we were done with the interview, it was a 2-hour interview. It was a Stokes interview. But
Which field office? Which field office?
Oklahoma.
What was your status at the time that you applied for adjustment?
So I came with a student visa,
Mhm.
but I was done with my associate degree, so I did my OPT and I didn't go back to school, so it wasn't active. My student visa wasn't active then.
So how long were you out of status?
It's like 1 year, because I was done with my program 2020. I was supposed to do an OPT 2021.
Mhm.
Yeah, it wasn't even really expired, but we filed December 2021.
Okay. So what's the question? So tell me about the Stokes interview. What happened? How did it go? Did you have a lawyer?
No, we didn't have a lawyer. We went by ourselves, but everything went well. We rehearsed, we practiced for that. I saw some of your resources online. That was what we used. So yeah, it went well. Everything was okay. But at the end of the interview, they were asking for our lease agreement. The lease, we earlier submitted the lease when we filed the application, but they were asking for that after the interview. So they sent an RFE so that we can send in the lease agreement. So we got home, and 2 days after, we sent the lease agreement in. And then it was in June, we got an approval for the I-130. And the next day, the I-130 was reopened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been like that from June till now with nothing meaningful, nothing, no update, nothing.
Were either of you married before?
Yeah, my spouse was married before.
Did he ever sponsor someone for an immigration benefit off that prior marriage?
No.
Okay. And when but you were never married before?
No, I was never married before.
Okay. And how long were you married when you and your spouse filed the I-130?
We got married in October, then in December we filed. It's about 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the things that are on the fraud indicator list. So, we have in our office a couple of times been accidentally provided the fraud indicator list from USCIS. They also publish some of these things. One of them is if the person's out of status. So that's a red flag. Another red flag is when the couple gets married really, really quickly. So I think that they're probably doing an investigation. Tell me about the lease. Was this lease for a place that you guys found together? Were you added to the lease? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the lease we submitted initially when we were applying, it had both our names on it. Like he was on, both of us were on the list, but then we moved to a different apartment, and then they run a background check on him. Maybe they used a different company or something, and they said he has some things on his background that he cannot be added to the list. So the initial list we submitted the first time, he had his name on it, but the second one we submitted after the interview, he doesn't have his name on it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up. So before you got married, well, did you do your F1 in Oklahoma?
Yes.
And what country are you from originally?
I'm from Nigeria.
Is your spouse from Nigeria?
No, he's from here.
Okay. And okay, so you come to and did you know your spouse before you came to the United States on your F1?
No, we met
So
here.
you come to the United States on your F1, you get OPT, you fall out of status, then you get married, or you meet each other, and 2 months later you get married. So when you met him, you were living in apartment A and he was living in apartment B, right?
Yeah.
And then when you got married, did he move into your apartment, or did you move into his apartment, or did you guys get a new apartment together?
We got a new apartment together.
And let's just say that that apartment was on Broadway, right? And so when you submitted the second lease, was that for a totally different location, not on Broadway, or is it for the same place?
It was a different apartment.
And so was the stuff that kept him from being able to be added to the lease, was it criminal related or financial related or what?
They said he has something to do with his background, rental history in a previous place. So
did you explain when you dropped off the new lease, did you explain that to
yes,
the
yeah. I wanted to do that, but I was advised not to explain except they asked me.
Who told you that?
Friends, I don't know. I mean, I asked people and they said, I don't know, but I didn't explain that to them.
So right now, what they have is a joint lease for apartment A that you guys had together, and then you guys moved,
Yeah.
and only you are on that lease.
Yes.
I mean, it's better that it's only you and not him, but okay, let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very little marital evidence and 10 being a shitload of marital evidence, how much did you submit with your case and or bring to your interview?
I would say 8.
8? What did they talk to you about at your interview when they separated you? What kinds of things did they talk about?
They asked about stuff like who woke up first this morning, do you drink coffee, what did you eat this morning, how did you propose, who proposed to who, where did it happen, how did it happen, yeah, stuff like that.
What when you and your husband, since you didn't have an attorney there, it's hard because there was, like, the great thing about having an attorney at a Stokes interview is that they get to write down what everybody says for both, and then you can compare your answers. Like I just split the page in half and I write down everything that the US citizen says, and then I write down whether or not it matches. So when you and your husband went outside and got in the car and talked about the questions, how many mistakes or not matching answers did you come up with?
The only discrepancies we had then was he asked, how did we get to meet each other? And we answered the same question. We met at the friend's party. He had a friend. He was my classmate in school. So, but he was his friend. They worked together. And they asked me, what's his name? I told them the name. And they were like, what's his last name? I'm like, I don't know his last name. We took some classes together. And he was like, why don't you know his last name? I'm like, I don't know his last name. Probably the guy doesn't even know my last name. So, but when they asked him, he said the last name. But I didn't say any. That was the only discrepancies we had. Every other thing was the same. The answers were the same.
So like coffee and
yeah.
Who woke up first, all that stuff matched. Okay. And how are things right now with the marriage?
It's going okay.
If USCIS knocked on your door at 5 o'clock this morning and checked beds, would you both be sleeping in the same bed?
No, he works night shift. He works he's probably not gonna be here.
Okay, well, what if they came at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Like, when does he sleep?
Yeah, he leaves for work at 6 p.m. Then he works till like tomorrow morning.
Did you tell them that in the interview?
Yeah, we did.
And what was the original filing date?
December 2021.
So you're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
And what when you filed for your student visa, did you make up anything, or was there anything untrue in your DS-160?
No, not that I can think of. No.
Okay, well, some rude person is saying this is fraud in the comments, and that rude person should shut the fuck up because they don't know what they're talking about. And that's totally not cool to try to call someone out for fraud when you don't know what you're talking about. So knock it off. Okay, so when was the interview?
It was in March 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
March of 2023. So like 6 months ago. All right. So there's a couple different approaches. One, you could sue them. Two, you could submit a bunch of more marital evidence, and most importantly, an explanation as to what's going on with that lease, and maybe some proof. Do you know anybody in the apartment building that you rent from that knows you? Like neighbors? Like neighbors? Do you know any neighbors?
On a personal level, no. No.
Okay, well, here's a little tip. Start meeting your neighbors. But I think that what I would probably do, I mean, if we sue them, they're probably going to come knocking on your door at 5 a.m. So what I might do is get a bunch of, like, if I were you, you might want to hire us to make your case stronger, to explain why his name's not on the lease.
Okay.
But I mean, I believe what you're saying, but you have lots of little, there's a saying in America, it's called death by 1,000 cuts. So it's not any one cut that kills the case, but it's all of them combined. So you have lots of little things that they don't like. And when I start hearing things like he works nights and he's not on the lease, these are things that are really going to be high on their list. So I would say an 8. I would say an 8 isn't a good enough. You need a 14.
Okay.
Candy Ryan, I don't know what in the hell an OIER is, so please stop asking. I don't answer things in the comments. I don't even know what you're talking about. So please stop leaving that in the comments. Sorry. Jim's feeling a little feisty today. So I think your case is winnable, but I also think it's got problems. So I've sued that Oklahoma City office. I've been to that Oklahoma City office. I would say that they are sort of hard asses.
Yeah.
So if you don't beef up this case and make it stronger, and then what I would do is I would hire us to make the case stronger. I would meet your neighbors, talk to your landlord. I mean, at the very least, we could get a statement from your landlord, but we gotta, hopefully you didn't get some kind of financial benefit by not having him on the lease. In other words, that your rent is lower because he's not on the lease. Cause that's one way that people get in trouble, is they don't list both spouses because it means their rent is lower. So if that's the case, then what we need to do is let them know that he's there and explain to them what's going on, because whatever money you're saving on the lease is chump change compared to what you're going to spend if they deny your green card case, right?
Yeah.
So you got to firm shit up with the apartment complex. You got to submit more marital evidence. You got to get affidavits from friends and people, make the case much stronger. Then you send that all to them. You have the lawyers enter their appearance and say, hey, you fools, this case is almost 2 years old. The 2-year anniversary is on December X. If you don't approve this green card case by December X, we're going to sue you. And then if they don't, sue them. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. How can I get in touch with you for that?
Yeah. Just shoot us an email. Say, I'm Jane. I was on the show at the 40-minute mark on Tuesday. Send an email. Say, this is episode 451. I was on the 45-minute mark. And my name is Jane, and send an email to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. We go from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right, Candy. In that case, Candy, I do know what that is. You don't need it. That's only if you have a lawyer. You don't need the EOIR 29 unless you don't have a lawyer. Sorry, I got mad. All right, Jill is here. Hello, Jill.
Hi, Attorney Jim. How
Hi.
are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Do you mind if I'll be off the camera?
You are off the camera, Ms. Jill. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. And I love your show. I've been really standing by for your show to get in because it's always full. And I just have a couple of questions regarding with this Dignity Act. Is this already signed?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So because it's been a lot of going on in the Congress talking about that.
Yeah, no,
And
that has not passed.
that is not passed. Okay. And second is there any other way if you're undocumented or out of status to get a legal status?
Well, being undocumented is sort of a complicated, or it means lots of things. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what happened, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. This is not for me. I don't have much detail of it, but what I know is it they have like a sponsor before, and then the sponsor for job didn't go through. They
Yeah.
didn't file. The employer did not file it. That's why uh, it gets out of status. They hired a lawyer before, but it didn't work. So it goes through many years until now.
So how did they enter the
What
United
can you advise?
Yeah. How did they enter the United States?
Oh, through tourist visa.
So they just been hanging out here out of status for years and years.
Yes.
So they can't get into status through employment. That won't work.
Okay. So is there any other way to get the status?
There's 4 ways to get status in the United States: asylum, through the diversity visa, through employment, or through a family member. The only one that clears up an overstay like that is if you marry a U.S. citizen.
Oh, so if you're overstayed, you cannot get those 4 that you said? You
Correct.
cannot. Oh, so the only
most likely no.
So what can you advise for it?
Just lay low and hope that something like the Dignity Act or some kind of other immigration reform passes, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So they should just lay low because they don't have any status. There's no line to get into, no forms to file, no fees to pay. They're just waiting for some kind of immigration reform.
So your advice is to wait
There's
until
nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do. Okay. So
Thanks, Jill. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's the answer. Thank you very much for accepting my call.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got time for 1 or 2 more. Tamaya is here. Hello, Tamaya.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I just got introduced to your program today for the first time. I've never heard about you, but
Oh, well, I'm crazy and I cuss sometimes and I say lots of weird things, but hopefully I can help you. What immigration you got going?
all right. I have a 30-year-old daughter, and I want to petition for her to come to the United States.
Okay.
But her dad is a U.S. citizen, and I think he got his U.S. citizenship before she turned 18 years old.
But she's overseas.
But yeah, she's in Antigua. Yeah, so I would like to know I'm not sure about when they turn before they turn the age of 18.
It's not just turning 18. It's sort of a complicated thing. I had to come home to do the show, so I don't have my books in front of me, but usually you have to be in the United States in the custody of the parent and have entered as a lawful permanent resident. So So she's probably not a U.S. citizen.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
probably.
I guess
Most likely she's not. Most likely she's not a U.S. citizen and just needs to go the green card route.
green card. Okay. So is advisable that I just do the filing for her because I'm not yet a citizen. I'm a permanent resident.
Yeah, either you or the father, either one.
I think I'll do it because he's not doing anything.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so okay, so that's what I want to know. I just want to know if me doing it or him doing it, it would be better.
Well, citizens are a little bit faster, but not much. And unless she gets married. If she gets married, then she falls out. So that's the only thing. If she gets married, then it would only be a petition from a citizen, not a petition from a green card holder that would keep her case alive.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thanks, Tamaya.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you.
a good day. You got it.
You too. Thank you.
All right, let's talk to Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jim.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I have a complicated case that I want
I can barely hear you. Can you hold the mic up by your mouth?
it, but I need to share that with you.
Okay, go for it.
I came to the United States on my third visit to the United States. I got married in the U.S. and then my spouse filed for I-130 for me. I'm actually originally from Ghana.
Okay.
And I met my spouse here in Ghana. I met her in Ghana, but before I met my spouse, I had visited the US about 2 times already. I had my visa before we met.
Okay.
Yeah, so we fell in love here in Ghana. And then when I went back for the third time to the US, she didn't allow me to come back. She said we should stay. So she filed an I-130 for me.
Okay.
And then when we filed it,
and you filed the 485?
yeah, I'm sorry, I-485.
You filed everything. You guys filed everything.
Yes, I filed everything. And because I didn't seek counsel from an attorney, we did everything by ourselves. And at the time, I was a government official in Ghana.
Okay.
And then I needed to come back home and see to other stuff. So the mistake that I did is that when we got married, the first months, we had a lot of fighting and difficulties in our relationship and all that. So, it was the culture difference was so, we had different cultures, background and all that. So we couldn't, stuff was very complicated for me. And I mean, I decided to come back home without filing for advance parole. I never knew I needed to apply for that. I never, because I didn't seek any counsel.
Okay.
So I just took my passport and then came back home. And then when I came back home, she told me that she want to file for a divorce.
Okay.
And I said, okay, if she want to file for a divorce, that's fine. So she put in the divorce, and then on the July 7th, 2019, I was entering Chicago for our divorce hearing because I was supposed to appear in court for the divorce hearing. So when I got to the immigration, I mean, I was ordered removed. I wasn't allowed to enter.
Yep.
Yeah, so they gave me a 5-year bar and I came back home.
Okay.
Fast forward, when we got a divorce on the 12th of July 2019, I decided that, okay, due to abuses in the relationship, I decided to file for vow. And then at the time I came back home, I lost my job and everything. So I went through a lot of financial hardships and all that. So I couldn't afford an attorney to apply the vow for me. I did everything on my own.
Okay.
So I filed for the vow outside the United States. And
So
just
very low chance of success on that. Very. If you had asked me, if you had asked me, if you asked me, yeah, I would have.
Yeah, my vow was denied. That's true.
Okay.
It was denied, and because when it was denied, when they sent me the decision, I decided that, okay, I'll be following you for the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent an email to your team They got back to me, and you know, because I really wanted them to follow up on my case for me.
There's nothing for us to do. What do you want us to do? There's nothing to do.
Oh, meaning it's over. I can't appeal their decision.
I wouldn't take your money to appeal a denied VAWA. I would have told you before you filed it not to file it because it was going to be denied.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you need a new plan if you want to be here. This old plan's over.
Okay, so now the new plan is that like as I'm talking to you, I've applied for a tourist visa again.
They're not going to give that to you.
They're not going to give me that.
No, because you've demonstrated immigrant intent by having someone file an I-130 for you. They're never going to give you a visit visa again. Plus you got the 5-year bar, and just because the 5-year bar is up, that I just did a video on this. It'll come out next week. It's, hey, I came on a visit visa and I overstayed, or I tried to change my status and it didn't work out.
I never, in my case, I never overstayed.
I know, but in their mind, you did. In their mind, you had a visit visa. You were supposed to leave. You didn't leave. You applied for adjustment based on marriage, and that didn't work out. So you ended up staying a lot more than 6 months, which in their mind means they're never going to give you a visit visa again because you don't say what you're
No, Jim, I spent 5 months and came back.
Yeah. What's the question, Michael? I'm just telling you the cold hard facts are it's the chances of you getting another visa to the United States are very, very long.
So my chance of getting another visit visa is very low.
I'd say less than 5%.
Wow. So what do you suggest?
Like nothing. Just chilling in Ghana.
Okay. What if I win a visa lottery or something like that?
Visa lottery would work. You should apply, but you're going to have to overcome all this stuff, but that part would actually work. I'm going to get going, Michael. I'm going to try to do one more call before I go. Okay, buddy?
Okay.
Thanks, man. All right. Ro is in the waiting room, and Ro looks like Ro needs to talk to me. So let me say hi to Ro. Hello, Ro.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hi. I just have a quick question. My husband and I got married years ago, and we filed for his children to come. They finally came after a long process, but and they're 7 and 9. So I wanted to see about getting them U.S. citizenship. But I'm a citizen. He's not. He's still a green card holder. And I know if I would adopt them, I think they could get automatic citizenship. Or if he becomes a citizen, I think they can get automatic citizenship since they're under 21.
Under 18.
Under 18. Okay. So, but my question would be, does he if he's not thinking about getting his citizenship, but he may do it for that reason, so they could get their citizenship. But would he have to? We know that their mom will not let me adopt them, but does he have to have like a custody agreement with her? She lives in another country, like they're from Haiti, but she lives in Dominican Republic. So would he need to get like a custody agreement from her before he could before they would be able to get the automatic citizenship?
So, Ro, I think they might already be citizens. They entered as lawful permanent residents.
Yes.
And you're a U.S. citizen?
I'm a U.S. citizen, and I filed for them under me. I'm a citizen, but he's not a citizen.
They're living in your custody?
Yes.
I think they might already be U.S. citizens. I don't think you need to adopt them in order for them to become U.S. citizens. I don't know for sure because I don't have my books here. But if you want to email me, I can confirm that for you because that's something an immigration lawyer who knows what he's talking about should know. So I'm 90% sure. I'm 90% sure that they're U.S. citizens, which would mean you would just file N-600s for them to get certificates of citizenship and a passport. But I just want to make sure before I tell you 100%. But if you email me, I can let you know in the next day or two.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Ro.
Thanks for taking a call. Have a good day.
Yeah. Mohsen says, I can't believe that the UK is not allowed in the visa lottery. This year they are, Mohsen. This is the first time in years. Our friend Lewis pointed that out, that the diversity visa opened up to people from the United Kingdom. this year. It's the first time in a really long time where that is true. Hey, people have been clamoring for an hour and a half long show. This fact that we went an hour and 5 and there's 234 people, 240 people, 34 people watching makes me think we should do an hour and a half show. This week's sort of crazy, but maybe next week we will do so. I hope you all have a great night. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. Most likely the show's at 4:30 p.m. Central, but I'm traveling, so anything goes. That's why you should text the word show to 314-470-3300. You'll get alerted whenever we go live, and that'll include tomorrow. We'll send out a text once I know that the flight is good and I'm in Miami. We'll try to do a show at 4:30 Central. Yep. Yes, Princess Lizzie, UK is in the DV lottery. So tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your parents, tell everybody. UK, for the first time that I can remember, I know you've got your visa. You're good. You don't need to worry about it, but that's a thing. All right, everybody. Thanks, Brent, for watching. Thanks, everybody else, for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Peace out.